Today I want to talk about characters that I relate to because it seemed like fun. Specifically, I'm going to talk about 5 characters, starting with Ron from the Harry Potter series. I remember when I was younger, I of course connected with Harry because he's the main character, and I also had messy hair and wore glasses when I was younger. However, as I grew older, I realized that of the main characters, I was definitely more like Ron. I have a lot of love for Ron. One of the few times where I got heated on Tumblr was in response to an anti-Ron post. We're both loyal friends who don't always think before we talk or act. We both have self-esteem issues, although my issues are obviously nowhere near as bad as Ron's. We're both younger siblings whose siblings had a tendency to pick on us. Also, although I wasn't a big fan of the characterization of Ron in the movies because it sucked, the one thing that they did add that I am a fan of is that he eats a lot, because I also eat a lot. And this is also something that StarKid added in their Harry Potter musicals, which, again, is something that I do strongly connect with. The next character, also from Harry Potter, and slightly more aspirational, is Luna. Luna is unapologetically herself. She's odd, and certainly not one to conform to the norm. While I do consider myself to be as odd as Luna Lovegood, I do have that connection with her, I am far less comfortable with embracing that and not letting others stop me from being that odd. I can only hope that someday I can be as wonderful as Luna Lovegood. Next character we have is Xander from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I will say that one of Xander's main traits, especially in the earlier seasons, is being incredibly horny, which I have gone on record saying that I have never experienced growing up. Or now. However, overlooking that one trait, Xander and I do have a lot in common. He's the heart of the group, constantly letting his emotions make the decisions for him. He's kind of awkward, both in just his personality, but also in his movements, but he does not hesitate to put himself out there in order to keep his friends safe when his friends are in danger. He's also fluent in sarcasm, and these are all traits that I also possess. Next character is Wash from Firefly, and if there's one thing that I've learned while thinking about this list, it's that I am a snarky sidekick from a Joss Whedon show. In all honesty, though, I did always relate to Wash. There's, of course, the sarcasm and the constant wisecracking, but one of the biggest things about Wash that I relate to is that he's a goofball, but always knows when to go into serious mode. His very first scene, his introduction, which I guess those two mean the same thing, but here we go, is him just sitting in the cockpit playing with dinosaurs. But as soon as that alarm goes off, he immediately responds to the danger. I am also a goofball and would 100% play with dinosaurs. I actually bought a couple because I was putting together a Wash costume a few years ago. But I like to think that I also know when to be more serious. The final character that I'm going to talk about today is Steven from Steven Universe. I haven't seen a character more like me than Steven, really ever. Steven and I both have very big love for our friends and do whatever we can to help them be happy. We both get frustrated with ourselves when we can't help. We both have a tendency to focus so much on making other people happy that we neglect our own happiness. I truly believe that if I had gem powers that were bordering on uncontrollable, that I would go through the exact same thing that Steven did in Steven Universe Future, which I won't go into here because spoilers. We're also both bad at talking about our own feelings, and much like Ron, make rash decisions without giving it too much thought. And of course, there's those self-esteem issues. I really don't think that I have ever related to a character more than I have related to Steven. So those are 5 characters that I very strongly relate to, and with all that being said, I will see all of you tomorrow.